Have you ever been in that spot where you're wondering, is she flirting with me or is she just being nice? Well, we are about to decode that whole subtle, unspoken language of attraction. In this explainer, we're going to turn all that confusion into clarity using 7 psychology-backed signs that, yeah, she's definitely into you. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You have a great conversation, you walk away feeling that little spark, and then the doubt starts to creep in. Was that real? Or was I just imagining things? It is that classic nagging question that can drive you crazy.
I mean, this quote just absolutely nails it, doesn't it? I think every single one of us has had that moment, just replaying an entire interaction in our heads, trying to figure out if we should make a move or if we're about to look like a total fool.
Okay, but that uncertainty, that ends today. Right now, we're basically going to become detectives. We're going to look for the real, science-backed clues that most people completely miss. So, let's get to the bottom of this once and for all. So, our investigation kicks off with the silent signals, all the things she's saying without speaking a single word. You know, these nonverbal cues, they're often the most honest ones.
First up, the eyes. Now, we're not talking about some kind of awkward, creepy stare down. No. This is that subtle glance that just holds, for maybe a fraction of a second longer than is technically normal. It's just long enough for you to notice it. And trust me, that little extra moment, it's almost always intentional.
And here's the really cool part, the science behind it. That tiny little moment of extended eye contact actually triggers a chemical reaction in the brain. It releases oxytocin, which is often called the bonding hormone. It's literally creating a subconscious connection between the two of you in that split second. Wild, right? Next is this fascinating subconscious thing called mirroring. This is when she, without even thinking about it, starts to subtly copy your body language. It's a really powerful, kind of primal way of saying, hey, I get you, we're on the same wavelength. And here's exactly how it works. You lean back in your chair, and a moment later, so does she. You scratch your neck, she adjusts her hair. What's so amazing about this is that she probably doesn't even realize she's doing it, which is exactly what makes it such a genuine, powerful sign of rapport. Okay, sign number 3 is all about self-presentation. When she's talking to you, does she suddenly start, playing with her necklace, or smoothing down her hair, or adjusting her shirt? That's called grooming behavior. She's subconsciously trying to look her absolute best for you. But, and this is a big but, context is everything here. A single hair touch could mean absolutely nothing. But is she doing it multiple times, while she's holding eye contact with you and while you're in a direct conversation? See, that's not a coincidence anymore. That's a clue. All right, let's move into part 2 of our investigation. We've covered the silent signals. Now it's time to look at the clues you can actually hear and feel.
The next time you talk, pay really close attention to how she sounds. When someone's attracted to you, their vocal tone will often change. It might get a little higher, maybe a little softer, or it could become more animated and playful. It's a special shift that's pretty much reserved just for you.
Just think about this contrast, right? When she's with her friends, maybe she's loud and rowdy, laughing her head off, but then she turns to talk to you, and suddenly her voice gets softer, maybe a little more intimate. That change? That is a huge indicator of interest. Oh man, this next one is a classic and for good reason. You know those small accidental touches? Let me tell you, they're rarely ever accidental. Think of them as tiny little physical invitations. They're designed to break that touch barrier and, test the waters.
It could be anything. Her hand brushing your arm when she laughs at your joke, a light tap on your shoulder to make a point, or even just choosing the seat right next to you when there's plenty of other space. Each one is a small test, building a little bridge of connection and trust. Has this ever happened to you? She brings up some tiny little thing you mentioned weeks ago, something you barely even remember saying yourself. This is an incredibly powerful sign. It means she's not just hearing you, she is actively listening, because what you say actually matters to her.
And honestly, this quote really just sums it all up perfectly. If she remembers your dog's name or your favorite kind of cereal, it's because that information is important to her, because you are becoming important to her. All right, so we've covered 6 major clues. Any one of them is a good sign. But there is one signal that stands head and shoulders above all the rest. The one that, if you see it, almost guarantees she's interested. And here we have it, the number 1 can't-miss telltale sign, the friend test. This is like the final boss of decoding attraction. It's not about what she says to you.
It's about what she's been saying to her friends about you.
So here's the deal. If you meet her friends for the first time and they already know who you are, it is game over. Seriously. If they know your name, they know your job, or they already know that funny story you told her last week, it's because she's been talking about you a lot.
So, now we have all the evidence. Each sign on its own is a small clue, but when you put them together, they paint a really clear picture. So let's put it all together and go from just spotting signals to reaching a final, confident verdict.
Here's the simplest way to interpret all the evidence. Think of it like this. If you spot one sign, it could just be a coincidence. If you spot 2 or 3, okay, now we're talking. That's a pattern of growing interest. But if you spot 4 or more of these signs, well, the verdict is in. She's into you.
And once you see that pattern, the whole game changes. Your job is no longer to guess and analyze every little thing. It's time to stop overthinking and just confidently, calmly play it cool. You have the information you need.
So we'll leave you with this thought. You now have the tools to see the signals you were probably missing before. The power has totally shifted, away from uncertainty and into confidence. So the only real question left is, what are you going to do with it?